Okay, welcome, Nathan Peachy. I hope I got it right.
You just certainly did. Well done.
Okay, he is. We should have went over that before, but that's okay. Every once in a while, you hit one out of the park. He's the lead vocalist of the band Teramaze from Australia. Welcome to the Noble Shire for Progressive Discussion. This is an absolute honor. I hear you guys are right up there with all the best of Australia, and I am still, kind of surprised that he said yes. But thank you for saying yes. You have a fantastic album out there. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedule to discuss your latest album, The Silent Architect. We're going to talk about what that's all about, but it is amazing. And there's well, the entire album is fantastic, but there's a couple songs that are really important in particular I want to talk to him about. Um, so this is your 13th and latest studio album. It was released May 8th of this year through Wells Music and Screaming Crow Records. And go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us uh, how the band got started and just the preliminaries, and then if you want, go into Silent Architect, the idea behind
Sure.
the title. Go ahead.
First I'll say, Mark, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. And obviously, thank you for the accolades. It's very kind. Um, the band's been around for quite some time. I joined the band around 2015, 2014, during my debut with Teramaze during her Halo, which was our gosh, I think it would have been our fifth or sixth studio album. I can't remember. Um, So I've been in the band in and out for the past 10 to 11 years now. But I think the band's founding was in 1997 when Dean was 17. He's the original member and has been throughout the whole. It's his band really, and we just get to be a part of it, which is always been the dynamic for a long time.
That's a good one
But
to be a part of.
oh, fantastic, and it's an honor. But yeah, the Silent Architect is one of those albums where we didn't get sick of it. Even at the finishing time, during the mixing, during the production, everything, we were still enjoying it up until now. We were rehearsing it this weekend. We still love the songs, playing them, and that's a first for us because usually by the end of an album, we're kind of worn out by it. We've listened to it 1,000 times, and by the time everyone gets to listen to it for the first time, we sort of need a break from it, or we're working on new stuff already, just because it's just how we work in Teramaze. We sort of look forward to the new stuff, and once because that's our joy is getting the
Yeah.
enjoyment out at the writing phase. But with the Silent Architect, we were enjoying the process throughout, and because of the way it was crafted, we're not too sure why, but it didn't feel uh, as tiring. It was just an enjoyable experience throughout, and we still to this day enjoy these songs. And
What's
there
the
hasn't been,
Oh, I'm sorry. No, keep
yeah,
going.
no, there hasn't been a point where we've gone, I need a break from these songs a bit. It's just been like, I love this song. This is a great song. And I think that was part of the reason why, for us, The Silent Architect feels like uh, one of our best albums. It's a best reflection of the band so far. And if anyone was to listen to Teramace for the first time, I wouldn't recommend any other album.
Yeah, it is really, it was my first, and it's a great starting point. There's no doubt about that. Who is the Silent Architect? I gotta, and maybe we're jumping in too early, but
No, no, jump in.
because I
Uh,
get some spiritual feelings towards that, and maybe that's wrong, but go ahead. Especially
well,
with
the
some of
so
the songs, especially with, well, we'll be talking about some of the songs, but go
no, that's fine. But the start of the concept for the Silent Architect was, I mean, it was up for interpretation, but our main sort of feeling was the Silent Architect is either God or it's either Satan. And if you understand faith is how we believe it, if we're as Christians, Dean and I are both very open about our Christian faith, um, and we're never shied away to talk about it.
I'm not afraid
Um,
either. Yeah, I am too.
no, yeah, no, I've never been shy. If someone asks me, I'm more than happy to say so. But this album was a lot more spiritual than we thought it was going to be intended to be. But the stories, the concept just kept growing in that aspect, and as we leaned into it, we didn't shy away from it. And like Dean and I don't shy away from our faith, so we leaned into it a lot more than what we thought. And yeah, so the Silent Architect was sort of the designer of the world around us, and whether you believe we're in a fallen world, a dark world, a sinister world, or you believe there is hope, or you believe that there are things about this world that are full of beauty and full of love and nurturing from each other, it just depends on your perspective and how you see the world. And that's the Silent Architect. It's something that's quiet, but it's always there, and that depends on how you look at the world. Could be negative, could be positive, and it was up for interpretation, I think. And that's an important part of Teramaze's music. It's like it's how your concept of what you think is going on is just as important as ours when we created it. Because when we let this music go, it now becomes yours.
Yeah.
And that's why I think people attach themselves so much to albums because they're a body of work instead of just one song. And it gives you different perspectives. It's the same, for instance, like the Gospels of the Bible. You're not getting one story of Jesus, you're getting a whole bunch of people's perspectives of who Jesus was. And with those books, you get a fully formed version of what Jesus and who Jesus was from those stories. So every song on The Silent Architect tells you a different perspective, a different side of those emotions and of those feelings and those ideas. And that reflects the fully formed Silent Architect and how you see it, whether you think it's negative, whether you think it's positive, whether you think there's hope, whether you think there's darkness. All those things reflect who you are back at yourself through the ideas that we put in this album.
Okay. And it
Yeah.
does, as you, well, you didn't mention, but it does deal with, it goes way back to Genesis, the Adam and Eve, the Garden of Eden, and takes things from there. Do you want to mention a little bit more about that part of it, or?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the title track, The Silent Architect, brings us straight into the Garden of Eden with the sound effects and things like that. And the music starts right after the crunch of the apple. So the first bite of the apple, the fruit of knowledge, from the tree of life or the tree of knowledge, I think it was. And it was sort of like that was our first downfall. It was the first sin. It was the first thing that we did that was
Mistake.
against the creator, against the architect, or against God, however you want to see it. Um, and it's sort of like this back and forth between what we've done and trying to make amends, or forgiving ourselves and allowing ourselves to go, we've done something wrong. That's okay. We can move forward from that and learn to be better. Or, we sort of sink down into darkness and go, I'll never be good enough. Very similar to Cain and Abel,
Yeah.
after that story as well. Whereas, Abel was pushing to be positive and trying to, re-engage with God and prove that he was, um, still worthy of God. And then you've got Cain, who was envious of his brother and decided to delve into negativity. So there's this constant back and forth in the Bible, and we wanted to sort of mention it from the very beginning. It's like this is where it started. So that back and forth inside yourself starts here, the Adam and Eve story. And that's why we wanted to tell that story through this particular album, was because I think it's sad. There's so many elements of it. It's so nuanced in Genesis because it's where everything started for us, and why Jesus came obviously after the fact was to sort of show us the way. Because during the whole the Old Testament, you're seeing this constant back and forth of good and bad decisions, and us just trying to figure out a way to navigate now the world that we've sort of pulled ourselves into. So yeah, it's very, very faith driven, but it's not something we were doing on purpose. It was just coming out uh, musically, lyrically, purely just by our own understanding of our own faith. And not at all were we trying to push anyone to believe what we believed. Well, that's why we left it up for interpretation. We changed how we explained certain things. So we didn't allow ourselves to be trapped in that sort of, oh, this is a Christian album. It's like, no, no, no. It's an album about good and evil. And it's about how we see it in ourselves and how we see it in the world. And that's sort of the basics of the album as like as fundamentally as I can keep it. And the nuances around that, that's your interpretation of yourself through the album instead of it being like, because you could make something very Christian, but people's perspectives on Christianity changes per person. Someone
Yeah.
could have had a really negative experience with Christianity, and now they see the album as like a negative purely because of that. So it's tainted already, it's been stained. So our job was to maintain a level of like, yes, we're using our faith to create, to craft the story, but we're keeping it almost, we're changing the definition in order to keep it open to interpretation for people who may have um, a bad experience with Christian faith, and the people that, not all Christians are good. So it's about making sure that we kept the story as pure as we can without, uh, we're taking the toxicity out of it and making people able to interpret it how they want to through their own experience.
And do you run into any animosity like you two uh, you two did back in the 80s and 90s? A lot of people said, stop preaching to me. Do you ever feel that? Because I never ever thought they were preaching to anyone. I mean, they were throwing some things out there, letting people know what, their perspective, just like you. And
Mm.
people misinterpreted and thought, you're trying to shove this down my throat. Never did I think Bono was trying to shove anything down anyone's throat. And I mean, that's just me. But you don't get any kind of backlashes, I hope.
No, not really. I think we're very good at hiding it through layers of music and very sort of up for interpretation lyrical content. Like we're not very direct, unless we're having fun
Yeah.
and the song's fun. Then the lyrics can be a little bit more direct and a little bit lighter. But if it's anything deep or very poetic or spiritual, we make it very obvious that we're doing something. It's up for interpretation. So if anyone questions us, excuse me, if anyone questions us on it, um, we can almost play dumb because the lyrics don't give you the obvious story. But if you're a person of faith and you understand what we're trying to do and our I guess our message, they can read it for what it is and they
You can
understand it for what it
recognize
is.
it.
It's very
Yeah, you're right.
exactly well, it's similar to the Bible, like Jesus, and when he speaks and how he talks, he doesn't ever say it directly. He says it, he wraps it with certain nuances and phrases. So if you're ready to accept his his um his explanation for things, if you're ready to accept him into your life,
Yeah.
you read it differently as if you're reading it someone who's not ready. Because if you're not ready to read it and understand it for what it is, you pull away straight away. You go, oh, that
You
doesn't
miss
make
the
any sense.
interpretation. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. And Jesus was very clever with that, especially with the testimony from John and Mark and Matthew. You can read those, you can read those interpretations, and you can either accept them, and it allows you, and when you accept them, it guides you through his life a lot easier, and you can understand him fully and appreciate him as much as people Christian, like true Christians, would understand him. But if you're not ready for it, it doesn't tell like an honest truth, like 100% fact. You can't read it like that because that's part of faith, is being able to go, oh, okay, maybe I need to lean into this to understand it more.
Believe it.
So we're very clever with that. We try and make sure our lyrics sort of do something similar where we don't give everyone the full information. It's a little cryptic. So you
Yeah.
have to sort of lean into it. You have to delve a little deeper and understand it on your, that's where your influence comes in, and that's how you can sort of appreciate it from that perspective.
That's why I love the title, The Silent Architect. It's perfect. You couldn't
Yeah,
say it any better. Yeah, you know who it is if you know who it is, and those
that's
of
right.
us that believe know who. And like you say, I was a little timid and wondering about getting into that because, yeah, some bands don't ever want to get into that. And so, thank you for being willing to listen and talk about that. Are you? I think you've already had a few shows, probably definitely the release day show. Are you touring the new album?
We're always trying to tour. It's something we struggle with because we're so far away from everyone that
Yeah.
loves our music. We're definitely looking into getting our own tour sorted. We've been trying to get onto tours across Europe and America. Just hasn't been successful. I think a lot of people see us as a what's the word? Not as a problem, but as a high risk because we're in Australia. So it's going to take a lot of money to get us over there. And many times we explained to a lot of different companies and people, it's like, we'll cover our travel costs. Just we'll get there. You guys figure it out for us on the other side.
When you get here. Yeah. Yeah. If I have the
Yeah. So I
venue
think
ready, you'll fill,
exactly.
have the venue ready, we'll
Yeah.
fill it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people just don't want to take the risk. And we're at that point in our sort of career and in the band. It's like we're on the precipice of crossing over to the point where we can tour regularly and fans will want to see us. So I think we're gonna make a push. We're fiercely independent as a band. We do not like anyone touching our stuff because we like to be able to release music when we want to. And as soon as we're locked in with a label, we're now on their schedule instead of our own, and we really struggle with that. Um, our fans expect us as a band because of the way we've run our band for so long independently is to release music whenever we want to. If our fans surprise our fans with a single that's got nothing to do with any albums coming out, we'll just drop a single like that. Hey guys, there's a new song, boom. That we can't do. So I think we've now realized it's like we've been doing this on our own without labels for so long and expecting tours to happen when we don't have labels. I think we've sort of gone, I guess we just need to make this happen for ourselves. And like anything else, like we've taken over everything as part of the band, like even production of merchandise and all that kind of stuff is now done in house as a band. And there's now the five of us. There's only the five of us. We don't have like a team behind us. It's just the five of us dudes just getting stuff done. So I think from now on, I think moving forward, we're gonna have to start touring
Has the
ourselves and
label
organizing it ourselves.
has the label supported you? Screaming Crow Records and Wells Music
Screaming Crow Records isn't a label that we work under. Screaming Crow Records is just a distribution company that
distributor. Okay.
buys. Yeah, he's just a distributor. So he'll purchase our CDs and then he'll distribute them for us in the US. And we've got a couple of companies that do that for us. But Wells label music is just Dean. So
Okay. What about teaming up with what do you think of the band Carnival? Because I love
oh,
it.
great
Yeah.
great band, but again, there's a lot of red tape with bands that are already signed to labels. So they struggle to touch independence.
Uh,
Again, because of risk. So labels don't want to risk on an independent if the independent can't prove that they can hustle. So you have to show that the band is doing everything on its own for a label to be interested in working with
gotcha.
you. And at that point, we're going, well, then why do we want to work
Why
with
do
you in
we
the
need
first
you?
place?
Exactly.
Exactly. And that's
It's
that's
kind of
kind of the
like
situation
insurance.
where, yeah,
Prove that you need it or prove that you need the loan, and then we'll give you the
exactly.
loan. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
So
Prove,
prove
that
that
you
you've
can
got the
pay it
money.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at. It's like prove that you've got the money for the loan so that we can loan you money. It's like, well, then why do I need the loan?
Exactly.
So
Why am I
yeah,
going to pay
why do
you
we need
interest? Yeah.
yeah. So we've taken control of a lot of different things. And because we work so hard, labels are approaching us with offers, but the offers are as if we're stupid. And that's
Yeah.
the problem we're running into. It's like, mate, you don't think that we know what you're doing.
Yeah.
We're not gonna sign up to your label if you're not going to give us an offer that we can see that benefits us. Because right now, every other band that's doing what we're doing, the offer that you're giving us basically takes away everything that we're doing just so you can do it.
Yeah.
We're already doing it without you. Why do we need you? You need to bring us something that we can't do to the table. And if we're doing everything, you have nothing to offer us.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem we're running into is a lot of labels think that we're not cluey on this stuff. It's like we've been doing this on our own for quite some time. We've released albums, people are buying them.
13 albums.
We're
I'd say you know what you're doing.
yeah. So this isn't our first rodeo. We're not a band that's like, oh, we're brand new. You can take advantage of us. It's like, no, we've done this. We've been taken advantage of, and we've learnt from that experience. We're not going to put ourselves into that kind of position again. And I think labels are now struggling with us because we're not easy to deal with. It's like, no, it's not that we're not easy to deal with. You're not giving us anything that we want.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're just
Well,
very high standard.
but the good news is they are getting new. And you want to talk about the announcement you made on Facebook today. Great announcement, brand new keyboardist. Tell us a little bit about his background and why he was the right fit. He's a good friend of one of your bandmates. And go ahead,
Well, you're
make the
talking to the right
announcement.
person.
Yeah.
You're talking to the right person because this bandmate that we've now added to a new addition to Teramaze is actually one of my oldest friends from high school.
Wow.
His name's Luke. His name's Luke Roston. And we've been mates since basically the start of high school. Um, he's a one of those prodigy keyboard players who's been playing piano for a very, very, very long time. Even when I was in high school, he was good. He was the one that introduced me to progressive metal. So he was the friend, and we would bond over some of our favorite bands together. Dream Theater being one of them, along
I
with
was going
many
to
other
ask
kinds of
you,
bands.
who else amongst those? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, sure. I can rattle off a bunch. Symphony X, Dark Water, Vanden Plas, Pagan's Mind, Subsignal, a
Okay.
whole bunch of bands. That these were like this was our like our those days that you talk about sitting down with your friends and listening to records. That was my time when I was a kid. We'd sit down and listen to some of these bands and make playlists and get them all together and listen to music for hours. And then we'd want to start our own bands and stuff like that. He's the reason I wanted to be a part of a progressive metal band.
Yeah.
And for years, he's been, working in the background, doing his own thing. And I've been in Teramaze in Melbourne. And we reached a point now in the last 6 months. We went and saw Dream Theater live when they came to Australia. And when we saw the band, or the five piece all working as one, that was when Dean and I both said, we need a keyboard player in order for us to upgrade our sound and our live performance to a new level. And that's when we
They've
started
had
looking for
some good
keyboard
ones.
players.
They've had some really good ones. Dream Theater, I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So when we started looking for keyboard players, I told my mate, I said, dude, we're looking for a keyboard player. And he hasn't been like quietly sort of, rusting away in the back of a garage. Like he's been playing
He's been
nonstop. The
working.
guy's obsessed
Yeah.
with his keyboard. Yeah, if there's one thing you can trust my mate Luke to do is that he can play piano. So he as soon as he saw the post that we're looking for a new keyboard player, he told me. I stopped whatever I was doing that day and I just said, I gotta go. I gotta do this.
Good.
So he applied, sent his credentials to the band. We sent him a few songs to try out. We did a rehearsal in March to sort of see where he was at. Um, Obviously had a few bumps in the road because our music is quite a lot, and we're not used to writing with a keyboard player. So when we write keyboard parts, we put them on a backing track, so we don't think too much about how they're going to be played. And some of them were really difficult, lots of layers. And he felt a bit overwhelmed, and we said, "Look, man, just play what you think feels right for those moments. Don't overwhelm yourself with too many sections. Just give yourself that space. Like think like a keyboard player. Like add emphasis to these songs. Let us lead, and you just follow."
Yep.
And then we just had
Really
a
good.
rehearsal this weekend with him, and we had a rehearsal with him this weekend, and everything just slotted together. And the Teramaze that we heard, we feel like this is the next level of the band, and we're so excited to show this off because it's just an element of the music that we've sort of not taken for granted, but we've sort of let slide a little bit because we didn't think too much about it. And when Luke came into the fold, it was sort of like, ah, we forgot how good this part of the band was, the keys, and how influential they can be for the music. So it's going to change a lot. And still keep the Terame sound, but it's going to add so much extra stuff, so much color that the band didn't have before,
Layers.
which I'm
You
really
just keep
excited.
adding great layers and making that soundscape even more. Yeah, because too many bands just it's that thunder, that the drums, the guitar, and it kind of gets a wash after a while. You need something extra in there. A lot of people put strings, other things in instrumentation, but you got to have keyboards. It really does
Yeah.
make a difference. Um, the go ahead and I'll tell you, we'll jump ahead and we'll do some futuristic stuff, and then we'll come back to the album. But in talking with him before we got here, he mentioned they've already got an album, the next album, ready, as in ready to release. Not this.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah, yeah. Go
No,
ahead.
not ready to release, but we've got like in the Teramaze camp, there's always songs being written, no matter where we're at in the album production side of things. If we're working on a new album, we've also got songs that won't be on the new album that'll be on another album. It's just the way we run things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll write songs that don't fit for that album, so it's got to go on the next one. Um, like for instance, Left in the Fire off the Silent Architect was originally for the Harmony Machine, but
Okay.
it didn't feel right on that album, so we left it. And now it's the last track on the next album. So those things happen all the time in the Teramaze camp where we'll write songs that are built for something else, but not for this particular thing. So we've got two albums in tandem at the moment. We've got things for one album, things for something else. We're not sure what it is yet, but it's always something in the mix, always something going on, something new, how we're going to make it work. That's the part that we love. The release part where you guys get to see the final product. We've already moved on to something else by that point, by that time. So yeah, Teramaze is always working on something new. We never really stop because we just love that process so much. It's our favorite part.
And I think you
Um,
mentioned that it's not complete in terms of you can still add Luke to it, right?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Luke's sort of already a part of one particular work body of work that we're going on. He's added a lot to that already.
Okay.
Yeah, Luke's been working in the background for several months before we decided to announce him as a part of the band. Been working with us with writing. We had to make sure that he was the perfect fit. So we had to make sure that he was influential on the writing side because that's our favorite part. So that was a real key element, and making sure that he was a key element in the live process as well, because trying to translate our music live is so important to us to make sure it captures an element of the band that we can now showcase so much better now because we've got keys involved.
Yeah.
It's just really important to have those elements prioritized, and also making sure that personality wise he gets on with the rest of the guys. He gets on with me because we've been mates forever, but making sure that he gets on with the rest of the band was a key element as well. And yeah, he fits right in, which is great.
Can't beat that. And you guys, yeah, I think you have two guitarists. Well, Andrew plays bass and regular guitar. I tell you, bands that have those two lead guitarists, there's something to that sound that just, and I don't know if you do that, but um,
No,
does
Andrew's just a bass player.
he just does bass? Okay, but having
Yeah, he can play guitar, but he doesn't perform. He doesn't perform with another guitar, so
live,
it's
okay,
just bass. Yeah.
all right. We won't even go there. All right, the two off topic subjects. What are some of your
Mm.
favorite hobbies that you do when you're not making music? And you're working full time in a
Yes.
regular job. Yeah, most people don't
Yeah.
realize that. Yeah, these artists are actually working too
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah,
balancing
yeah. I
that
mean,
with.
well, Dean's the exception. Dean's a full-time musician. That's his whole life. He's crafted his world and built his world around and make sure that's all he does forever. And I couldn't be happier for him. He's the happiest dude on the planet. I unfortunately cannot do that.
Yeah.
I work as I'm a project manager for a carpet company.
Oh,
I've been in that industry for about 10 years now. I used to be an installer for carpet.
all right.
And I still sort of do that from time to time because I enjoy the physical activity it gives me. I like working with my hands and I like physical work. But this new job's a bit more of an office, sort of a desk job as I'm getting older, I need to sort of rest it more.
Yeah.
Um, but you know,
You're not old.
new beginnings.
You're not even near.
Yeah, I'm not even near it, but
Yeah.
I'm as
No,
a
I know.
carpet installers they
It's
wear
a
out pretty
very
fast.
physical
So
job. Oh yeah.
yeah, like I need more rests now, so I need to have something to fill the time while I'm doing that.
And
So
you're on your
um,
knees all the time, and yeah, oh my God, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm used to that, but I'm starting a new sort of a new role where I'm managing other installers, managing other jobs and projects, and it's been good. Like I'm enjoying that because I have the background of an installer, so it's been yeah, it's been good. And the things I love to do. Oh gosh, I'm
Well,
pretty
do you
boring
have time
actually.
for hobbies or
Well, I mean,
music is? Yeah.
music is. I mean, music's everything. So like, if I'm not doing that, I'm usually just chilling on the couch with my girlfriend, or you know, just having a nap with the cats. I've got two cats at home, so writing lyrics. There's always something to do with the band. There's always something. So I mean, because there's so much there's so many moving parts that we all control. Like, my girlfriend's taking over the t-shirts, which has been really fun. So we've been like doing new designs, and we're basically doing all the manufacturing for our merchandise. So that's been really, really, really fun.
All right.
But yeah,
I'll have
other
to,
than the occasional video game, I don't mind playing video games every now and then. It's a nice little distraction.
I'll have to put you in touch with this t-shirt manufacturer. I was trying to get a t-shirt from this band in Italy, and the lead singer said, "Don't worry about it. We have a company that can actually print them in the USA because this was during all that tariff junk." And I was like, "Are you going
Yeah.
to be able? Are you going to be able to get it to me? And how much? And all that." And she said, "Don't worry about it. This company can actually print them in the United States. We give them a license or whatever. So if you want, I'll give you some information about that later."
Yeah,
But
sure, that'd be great.
all right. And you guys are in, is it Geelong, Victoria, Australia, which is part of Melbourne metro area? Is that where you're at?
Um, that's where the band was founded in Geelong.
Geelong, sorry.
It's a J sound. But no, we're all based in Melbourne now.
All right.
Yeah,
And
so Geelong's a different city. It's about almost an hour away. Um, yeah, there's actually a bit of rivalry between the two places because they're quite close, but they're all sort of their own little unit. But yeah, we all live in Melbourne except for Andrew, our bass player. He lives in Newcastle near Sydney. And our new member Luke, he lives up north near Brisbane, but just down south a bit more, in a place called Lismore. Oh, actually, no, he lives in Ballina. Sorry, Ballina, which is like a beach town.
that was my next thing. You guys got to go to the beach. There's beaches all over Australia and
Oh yeah,
some of the best in the
no,
world.
yeah, yeah. So, well, unfortunately, Melbourne's kind of got a bay, so the only good beach would have to be sort of like out of the city. You'd have to go a couple of hours either east or west to get to good beach. But where my mate Luke is, he lives like on the Sunshine Coast, like the
Sunshine
Golden
Coast. Yeah, yeah.
Beaches.
Go.
That's the
Yeah,
yeah, all those famous beaches along that side.
yeah.
That's where he's around, and Ballina's another one of those. So yeah, so I used to grow up there with him, and I used to be very close to the beach for many years.
Have you ever been to Tasmania? I had no idea what it looked like. And then I don't know, some band or something pushed me to throw it up on YouTube. I looked at it, I was like, holy moly, how did I miss
Yeah,
this? It is
yeah.
gorgeous. This couple, yeah, that was it. This couple was moving from Australia to Tasmania, and I'm like, why would you do that? I mean, I thought it was this little tiny island of nothing. No, it's got some beautiful beaches. And you got to
Oh
watch out
yes.
for those. We talked about those dogs, those, no, I can't remember the name, but
Dingoes.
dingoes, that's it. You got to be careful of them on the beach. But they showed people actually walking up to these things and they're very used to humans. But anyway,
Yeah.
have you been there? It looks beautiful.
Uh no, I haven't been there. But my mum has, and I got a very good sort of like account or recount from my mum from when she went down there. She's a bit of a nomad, so she travels all around Australia now with my baby sister. And she went down to Tasmania. She didn't want to leave after she left. I'd imagine it's very similar to like some of the beautiful parts of Canada. It's
Yeah.
got a lot of like the sort of snowy tundra, but it's not completely like white. It's just very sort of the food down there is amazing. Apparently, is what I've been told. The seafood and the meat and all the crops are grown next to volcanic soil. So everything's just absolutely delicious and it's all full of like really good nutrients and stuff. I'm like, oh, makes me want to go. But yeah, my mum said it was one of her favorite places to visit. She didn't want to leave. She was that happy there.
One last thing, New Zealand. Have you been there? Because I would love to. After the Lord of the Rings, I mean, everyone wanted to go, I bet. But
Yeah. No, it was Lord of the Rings is definitely one of my favorite movies. I love a good fantasy or sci-fi movie. But no, I haven't been to New Zealand. But again, my mum has. She's traveled a lot of places, so she's always wanted to go and see the Hobbit holes, and she eventually did a few years back, and she said it was awesome. So yeah, it's a beautiful place.
yeah, the mountains and everything. Yeah. All right. So you already kind of talked about the title track, the opener.
Mm,
And by the way, you got a great vocal, and I don't know how I'd never heard of it, but other people here in America haven't heard of you because the whole band and definitely your voice. Uh, but the second song is the one that just absolutely blew me away. In fact, if you look at my review, I said this song could have been on Images and Words from Dream Theater. It's that good. Doors of
wow.
Yesterday. No, I absolutely love that. And it was funny. I was telling my wife that I was going to do this interview about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and or whenever you told me, and she goes, well, what is their music like? I put that song on. She goes, I've heard this. And I said, yeah, I probably had it in the car because any samples I get, I put them in our car and we listen to them because that's usually one of the best places to listen to an album for me. There's
Mm,
no distraction because we keep the windows closed most of the time. So there's no distraction. There's nothing going on around you. And other than headphones, if you put on some headphones, but what a song. Oh my God. People, if you haven't heard this, and then you filmed it on it looked like, was it black and white or was that a black beach? Because I know Australia has some of those black beaches. I think we do too here in Washington. But tell us about
we
that
just went.
song, the video.
Oh, well, yeah, of
Go
course.
for it.
No, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, that song was the song that I wrote many years before the album. I
Wow.
was in a very, yeah, so I was in a very, I was in a, I think I'll be honest with you. I was in a really bad relationship, sort of just very toxic. And I wrote this song in a car. I was
Oh,
sitting in
wow.
the car, um, out the front of my house because of the toxic situation. I couldn't write in the house. I couldn't make noise in the house. So I was sitting in my car writing this song. And Dave Holly, who was one of the piano players from the Halo saga, he's one of our sort of
Yeah.
piano players who played on Halo and Sorella and Eli as well. Um, a wonderful fall from grace. He sent through a piano piece that didn't make it onto anything. So I took the piano piece because I heard something that I liked in it. So,
Yeah.
and I wrote this song. So every single vocal melody, every lyric was me, and I just poured out what I was feeling at that time during the situation I was in into that song. Um, Even the first line, I looked through the glass right in front of me as the windshield was right in front of me as I was in the
Wow.
car, and yeah, it was the only way I could sort of express how I was feeling at the time, which is pretty standard for I think a lot of singers and a lot of musicians is to get it all out through music. And when I went to record it again, because what I captured was it was on a laptop with a microphone on the car, it didn't sound very nice. When I went to sing it again, it didn't sound right because I'd already dealt with that situation. I moved on. I was very sort of like I'd closed that part of my
Close the
life
door. Yeah.
like a book.
Oh,
So when I went to record it, the emotion wasn't there, and Dean was getting frustrated. I was getting frustrated in the studio, and he's like, you know what you need to do? You need to go back to that house. You need to sit at the front of that house and remember what that felt like. Because I'd moved out and done all that sort of stuff. And so I did. I finished a job one afternoon. I went back to the place where I wrote it, and it all was sort of washed over me, seeing all the stuff there again and being in that spot. It was like the worst nostalgia hit of all time.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went to the studio. I think it was the next day or the day after, and that feeling came back because it all was sort of was like reminded. It was fresh, and I made Dean cry by the end of the take.
I bet.
Broke him. It's the first time I ever sort of got that emotional response from him. And that made me cry because I wasn't expecting that. I'd never seen him do that before in the studio because he's usually very like, we're working on something. So it's sort of, men at work, sort of in the salt mines. But
Sure.
this song was something else. And
It really is.
I felt,
It
yeah, I felt like I finally put that feeling to bed because I was able to put it onto this record. And um, yeah, it's just honesty,
it gave me the
longing,
feeling.
and
I don't know if you remember Space Dive Vest from Awake, Dream Theater's
oh yeah,
the last song. It gave me that feeling. I mean, which
wow,
is fantastic. I mean, it's an incredible song, and I'd compare yours to that. I mean, it's that good.
wow.
It really is that good. And I mean, if you don't listen to any other part of this album, you really should because there's a lot more. But that song in particular is it just yeah, it hits home. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was the hardest. That was the hardest to sing in the studio because I had to sit with that feeling because I can feel it again a little bit. I remember it.
You can bring
So
that.
painful.
Yeah.
It's like a wound that I've ripped the scab off, and it's like, oh, it's
I don't
horrible. It's
want to
like
go
that. It's
back.
in my. I don't because I knew who I became
Yeah.
during that time, and I knew how lost I was,
Yeah.
and I was longing so much for comfort. And the only thing that has ever given me comfort throughout those times in my life is doing music.
Yeah.
So I think it was the reminder. Like, it's weird because music doesn't ever stop being this wonderful experience. So even if you're in the depths of despair dealing with something, it's almost like the music is enhanced because of how like low you're feeling. So if you're feeling really good, music is still a great experience. But if you're feeling like at the lowest point in your life, like you feel betrayed by the world, music still has a great experience because it's you're still open to it, you're still vulnerable to it. Yeah. It's always reflecting yourself back at you, no matter what you're feeling. And when I was writing that song, when I read those lyrics, it takes me back now because I'm like, oh God, man, I was so sad.
But you had a silent architect behind you,
Yeah,
watching over
yeah.
you, making
There's
sure.
always yeah,
Yeah.
there was always something else. Um, yeah, there's always a journey towards happiness. It's just it takes time, and you have
And
to trust
if
the journey.
people could just understand and believe that you're not alone and you're never alone.
Never.
All right, the invisible countdown opens with a clock ticking and the sound of an old telephone, which is really cool to hear. I
Yeah.
actually worked for the phone company years and years ago. Um, and it's a sad song, and it sounds like it's about a breakup. Is this still part of that same situation or a different one?
No, no,
Oh,
it's funny that you say breakup. It like again, this is why I love what we do because hearing other people's interpretations of those songs is always fascinating. I'm like, oh, it's about a breakup to you. That's fascinating. To me, well, to us, the Invisible Countdown was something that like the intro was something that we're listening to a bit of Queensryche at the time, and
oh,
they have some really Queensryche have some really cool intros and things like that. And the way they start songs is always really fascinating. So when we did the Invisible Countdown intro, and when we finally heard it, we're like, oh, this just makes sense. It's just so cool. Like you don't know what it is, and people are
you know
like,
what
is
it
this?
is? Is anyone listening? It's the end of Is anyone listening with the phone. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry. Go ahead. I'm
the
sorry.
invisible countdown was sort of like the countdown to the end of something or the countdown to the beginning of something. Again, it's up for interpretation. This was always this polarity with our concept. Um, are you willing to find out? It's only one debt.
Yeah.
So it's only one change. And for people, change is really difficult. Like a debt is really difficult. It's like you got to give up something in order for you to find out what's on the other side.
Yeah.
So the invisible countdown is the countdown to that moment when you finally decide to make that decision. And yeah, it's got elements of like breakups and things like that. We obviously relate it to things that we've experienced, and I've always made sure to do that because that's how I connect with the song in order to sing it well. But the concept is still connected to the main theme of the album, and I think that's my interpretation of those lyrics and how I wrote them. It's it's the countdown to change,
Okay.
whether it's good or bad, whether you're accepting that you're stuck in this situation, or you're accepting that it's time to move on from that situation, or you're accepting that you're finally in a good situation. It's the invisible countdown. You don't know it's there, but there is a ticking thing in the back of your mind waiting for you to make that decision, whether it's I accept this, I want to change this, I don't want this. It could be anything going on in your life. And I think it's that, are you willing to find out? It's
Yeah.
only one debt. It's only one change. And for some people, they spend their whole lives counting down and they have no idea that they're doing it, not realizing that they could let this go. Whether it's the feeling of
Yeah.
that they're in a bad situation, or it's the fact that they accept they are and they need to move on. And that's, I think, the hardest part of life is not knowing whether or not we're willing to make that change or we're willing to find out or not.
And don't wait until that clock stops ticking. You only have so long. Yeah. Make a decision. Yeah.
Who's on the other line? Who's on the other line?
There you go. Yeah.
And it could be the new version of yourself that you've never experienced before.
Yep.
So yeah, that's my interpretation of that song. And it's our favorite song to play. Like we love playing that song. We rehearse it for fun, even if we're not like practicing it for a gig or whatever. But I think when we start playing it live, it's never going to leave the set list for a long time. It's just such a great song for us to play. Such a good balance. Um, yeah,
I think Mr.
yeah,
Crazy
brilliant.
is probably another one of those songs. Who is Mr. Crazy?
Mark, we're Mr. Crazy.
We all are in some ways. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We do
No,
things. Yeah.
we've
Go
all got a Mr. Crazy in all of us. That's a funny song because the riffs for that song were this close. They were this close to going in the bin, Mark. We were going to
ahead.
throw them out. Dean sent me these riffs thinking, I'll send them to Nathan. And I'm listening to them and I'm going, they're backwards. That's the problem. Because the chorus riff used to be the verse riff and the verse riff used to be the chorus riff. So I've gone into my DAW system and I've swapped them and I've extended certain parts. I was chopping and changing Dean's riffs around because the song was still pretty basic at that time.
Yeah.
I was like, I could turn this into like a Skid Row kind of like upbeat, sort of crazy 80s, early 90s vocal track. And
Yeah.
I just let loose on it. I had so much fun. I had the kids over one weekend, my kids, and they were laughing at the silliness of the vocal melodies I was throwing down.
Yeah.
Um,
You do.
like that, like the high note at the end, like the kids
Screaming and
they were
yelling.
laughing. Yeah, yeah, they thought it was hilarious. Um, but I was having the time of my life recording
I
those
bet.
vocal melodies. Yeah, the demo vocals are like it's just full of like laughs in between the chop changes because I was just cacking myself. And Dean was loving it. He was like, "This actually sounds really good." I'm like, "You're joking. You cannot be serious." I was just having a muck around because these riffs were going to go in the bin.
Yeah.
And he said, "No, this sounds great. Let's use that." And I'm like, "You serious?" He's like, "Yeah. No, you've done something here." I'm like, "Okay." So
Hey,
we brought it all down to make more sense. But the original demos are so funny. I wish we still had them. I wonder if I could find them. They're just like just absolutely ludicrously crazy. It's all like the song's all there, but it's all the extra stuff. like all the fluff that I was throwing around inside all the other parts of the song. Like right before Dean's guitar solo, I screamed out like "Oh, guitar!" like
Yeah,
massive
yeah, I can
80s
tell.
vibes, just for fun,
And
which we cut because in order to keep the song a little bit more serious. But
well,
yeah, it was just one of those songs. It was just a lot of fun to make.
and I grew up in the 70s where these things were common. I mean, you had
Mm,
bands would release these fun songs just for fun. I mean, why not?
yeah,
It's it's music. I mean, yes, it's serious. Yes, it can be serious, but people go to dance, they go to listen to it, they go to enjoy themselves. Why can't it be fun? Um, Peter
yeah,
Peter Wolf, Jay Giles band. He's one of my favorite. He used to be a DJ, and he always did something funny. Not on every song, but I mean, freeze frame. Look at the catalog he's got. Uh, they're all fun. They're meant to be fun, and of all of maybe I don't know if um, he's the only one, but he's probably one of the people that had the most fun making music because it was.
yeah.
I'm telling you, you know who I'm talking about.
Sorry, no, I missed that last bit. I dropped out for a minute.
All right, Jay Giles band from the '70s. Peter Wolf
Jay
was
Giles.
Peter Wolf was the lead singer. Oh, you got to listen to some Jay Giles.
I'm pretty young, so I missed all those. What
Well,
was the name of the band? I'll write it down.
Jay Giles,
Yeah.
and the actual he that actually was one of the band members. He passed away just recently, but Peter Wolf is still alive. Peter Wolf was the lead singer. You
Mm,
might, yeah, just check out. I'm trying to think of the album, but the big song was Freeze Frame.
okay.
And just Google Freeze Frame, it'll give you the album. But just listen to that album sometime, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I mean, these
Okay.
guys, they constantly had fun. And if you go back, Land of a Thousand Dances, I mean, they covered a bunch of these things. But I'm telling you, it's just we need that back in music. It's been missing. So yeah,
Yeah.
definitely have fun. Um, and yeah, you're not Steve Martin and you don't want to be, although he's doing very well with his albums. But no, uh, really, we need fun back in music. And thank you for
Mm.
helping put some back in there. But
It's been a pleasure.
yeah, check that out. Jay Giles,
Yeah, for sure.
Freeze Frame, and I can't remember the name of the album now for whatever reason.
I'll
Arrow.
find the album.
Tell us about Arrow. It's a wonderful ballad-like song. Uh, Fantastic vocals, and you said something about it being a little bit like the Goo Goo Dolls or
Yeah, well, Dean
someone.
Dean said that.
Dean.
It's
Okay.
funny that yeah. So Dean wrote in. So when he opened the DAW system, Pro Tools, it was blank, and he named it The Hit. That was it. He was
Yeah,
gonna that was the day he was gonna write a hit. And I'm gonna write this hit, and this is gonna be freaking sick. And that was Arrow. Um, and he wrote it in a day. Took him a day to write. It was one of those songs that just came out, flowed out. I didn't have anything to do with it. That was all Dean. I get the pleasure of singing on it. That song was all Dean. It was hilarious. And we laugh about how pop it is and how much it sounds like the Goo Goo Dolls, but we love that song.
it's a good song.
Lyrically, it's I mean, Dean wrote the lyrics. He'd be the best one to ask, but what I get from the lyrics for me, it's kind of like a story of like dealing with like your worst problems and realizing you're not alone through this. It's going to be okay. Like you're going to get through this. At the end, there's something at the other end waiting for you. You just have to be strong through it. It's going to take
Yeah,
some time. And yeah, it's one of those songs that for us it's a like we sing it all the time. It's fun to sing, it's fun to play. It's very relaxed. Um and yeah, I love it when Dean and I share vocals. I always love those songs. We do that in Sleeping Man now, which is a song off I Wonder. And when we sing that song live, we sing it together. So it's one of those songs again where we get to sing it together. And I hope that we can do that more down the road when we start writing more songs with Luke in the mix. Now
And
that he
live,
can sort of put the
well, and live as well.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
correct. Yeah.
That,
So
that,
when we write songs together, I think we've got the keys now. We can sort of he can put his guitar, not put it down, but he can, minimize things because we've got those keys filling the space. We'll be able to sing more together, which will be really cool. So having those elements will be really exciting.
Dust and Bone,
Ooh.
very, very.
Um, yeah, that one's a heavy song, that one. Um,
It's got a lot of
trying to remember.
Metallica kind of influence.
Oh yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
much.
Dean would be the best person to ask for this one because the vocal melodies are sort of his, and I had to write the lyrics for them. When he writes vocal melodies, he usually writes them in mumble form, and then I've got to decipher them and figure out what kind of words he's saying. But this song is very much Dean influenced. Uh, it's this one's a very sort of interpret what you want from this song. It was just one of those heavy songs that we loved and we wanted to put on the album, and we just loved all the ideas in it. Um,
Okay.
and it was sort of like it's like a show off of like, yeah, we can do heavy too. We
And
we can
yeah,
do heavy. We can do all this prog stuff. We can do pop, and we can do this as well if we feel like it. Like we have all of these. It was just another crayon that we could, another color we could throw on the album and just go, boom, here you go. Here's another banger that we can throw at you. And it's heavy. It's got a lot of grit. It's got a lot of energy, a lot of anger in it. Um, again, it's all still part of the same themes,
yeah,
sort of, but I won't be a man till I'm buried in the dark again. It's like sort of like being buried in the darkness sort of like reveals who you really are. Like, are you a bad guy or do you rise to become the strong the strong good person in those situations, or do you fall with the darkness? Do you sit with it? So it's kind of like, it's sort of revealing of who you are as a person when you're put into those places and into those sort of mindsets and those positions. So yeah, it's pretty basic sort of idea, but there's a lot of elements in it which are really cool. And we all want to. I think that's why the film clip there's like a mention of a samurai in the
yeah,
clip. It's like because the samurai, to me, well, it's at least to Dean and I, we both see them as the men that were put in darkness. They're the ones that were the mountains in darkness because they knew how to hold themselves and they stood by their morals. They stood by their discipline. They stood by that. They're the ones that you could trust in a
yeah.
crisis because they were the ones that they would
Learned
rather.
allegiance and yeah,
Exactly. So they're the ones that if there's no darkness to fight, they'll let their sword rust. They won't create it
yeah.
because they're ready to go. They're the ones that fight monsters for us, not become them themselves. And I think that was part of the concept of that song, and that's why we liked it.
All right, Enemy in the Garden, and in this one, you got Matt Gillori from James LeBry's band. That must have been fun having him included.
He's a dear friend of Dean. They talk quite a bit, and yeah, he loves the band. He loves what we do. So we asked him just purely out of curiosity, hey man, would you love to play on this song? And he just within a couple of days he'd sent a solo, one take, and we just threw it on Enemy in the Garden because he was that good. He's that good, Mark. He's amazing. Um, yeah. So Enemy in the Garden, again was a very conceptually driven song. Just sort of very talking about sort of like this one I think for me is the most uh this is the one that sort of gives you the most out of the concept of the album itself
Yeah,
and delving into the lyrics. I think I almost don't want to interpret them as much because I feel like this is the song where if you read the lyrics and understand them for what they are, then you're getting that story
yeah.
from our perspectives. But if you're not ready, these lyrics will feel sort of overly confusing or too poetic for you to sort of delve deep into them. And I kind of don't want to interpret them too much. Enemy in the Garden, the title of the song sort of gives you that perspective.
All right.
if you understand what that means.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Uh,
Mm.
Caused a lot of confusion for thousands of years. All right. Ghost Hands.
Ah, this song's this song's cool. I like Ghost Hands. This was another Dean written one. And it was another one of those songs that kind of was similar to Arrow, but it wasn't Arrow, but we still loved the song. And it's almost like I guess it's a sophomore sort of version of Arrow. It's sort of like a darker, melancholy sort of song. Um, it's sort of a representation of who we are, who we want to show everyone,
Yeah.
but who we actually are is completely different. And we sort of have these two versions of ourselves that we're going back and forth with because there's a part of us that doesn't trust the world enough to show us our true selves. So we hide that version of ourselves um, because we don't want to be judged by others.
Right.
And we we
You should.
maintain we maintain a version of ourselves that is acceptable to the main world, but the part of us that we know is ourselves remains hidden. Um, and I think we forget that a lot, that everyone's doing that. They're sort of showing a version of themselves that they're not showing to the rest of the world.
Yep.
And it's purely out of protecting themselves from judgment and out of fear. And
Shakespeare.
that's yeah, I think that's ghost hands in a way. And it's this it's like symbolicness of the daylight, the moonlight. It's like we're one version of ourselves and then we're another. And we're constantly playing with those two, you know, concepts. Yeah, it's a pretty simple one, but the lyrics themselves, they sort of delve into a little bit of a story of a man who's doing that, and he might be doing something sinister in the night, but during the day he's not showing that off. Sort of maybe he's a serial killer. Who knows? I leave that one open a bit because I was like, I
Okay.
liked that it wasn't obvious and it sort of left you with an uncertainty. And that uncertainty is ourselves. We're sort of reflecting it upon ourselves and going, maybe I'm uncertain about me, of who I'm showing and who I'm hiding. So yeah, ghost hands.
All right. And then the closer is epic. Left in the fire. You talked about it a little bit already, but I mean, I've got all sorts of stuff on the review I did. Led Zeppelin. Have you ever heard of Kingdom Come?
The name rings a bell. Yeah.
90s band that everyone thought was a reincarnation of Led Zeppelin. The lead singer almost sounded like Robert Plant. It was like, yeah, great stuff. And then, of
Wow.
course, a little bit like Whitesnake, which also had a little Led Zeppelin flavor to it. But what
There
do
you
you
go.
think? 12 minutes. It's the longest song on the album. And
Mm.
the guitars coming out at the beginning are just awesome. But tell us about that one.
This song's a little different because it kind of it does set the scene for the concept, but we originally wrote it for Harmony Machine, and Harmony Machine was thematically written about AI and technology and things like that. Um, but I guess it sort of does. What was interesting is that it did reflect the themes of the Silent Architect in a way. We just had to change a few of the lyrics to sort of give it that vibe. Um,
Well,
yeah,
that's
it's
still
it's sort of
all that stuff is still very important right now. In fact, over
yeah.
here, it's even more important. I mean, you have places that never would have gone against this regime that's in place. Um, and now they are over AI. And
Mm,
yeah, it's amazing to see
yeah.
how people are pushing back.
Well, I think they realized just how, but I think it's because the first thing they attacked was the creative space, and that's our space. Like you don't get access to that. That's ours.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are sick of seeing the the saturation and the washing, like the water washing of how much crap there is AI riddled amongst songs and art, and it's killing people who are creative because it's stealing good ideas and just emulating them in a different way. And I think that is sort of left in the fire. And the title doesn't really match the the lyrical content, but that's kind of on purpose too. It's there is this burning of sort of what makes us who we are, and it's up to us whether we want to save it or leave it in the fire. And we
We got to make a
it's
choice.
almost like,
Yeah.
yeah, we got to make a choice. Again, it's again, it's a polarity. It's this feeling of we either accept what it is and we, move into that new dimension. We go down this path and we find new ways to create and, allow AI to, do its thing and see what's left for us. Or we push back and we go, no, this isn't okay. We don't like this. You don't get to step into this. You don't get to step into this space. And Left in the Fire was kind of telling a story of like we're seeing we're seeing versions of ourselves through AI, and it's not like people, but like like what makes us who we are online is like these creative profiles or things that we've worked so long to do, they do in a second. And we go, but you're not making them, you're just stealing them
Yeah.
and changing them a little and then putting them out there as if it's your own and profiting off of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where we go, that's not okay. Like even there's like even your job, Mark, like where you can review an album and speak to other bands and stuff. AI can take information all over the world, all over the internet about a band and just go, look, there you go. There's a review. And copy and paste whatever you said, change it a little, and that's their review.
Yeah.
And that's always been like an AI. The thing is, like, if let's say everyone loves a certain thing, AI is not going to go and do the opposite and say, oh, it's actually really bad. They're not going to have an opinion. They're going
Right.
to follow suit. They're
Yeah.
going to follow like a hive mind. And I think that's the problem we're having at the moment. The hive mind is now interfering in our space of creativity. And creativity, like music, was always a rebellion against the common
The whole point of
thought
it.
process. Yeah, it was a rebellion against it. It was to go, no, in case things got too crazy and everyone was following suit, we were the ones to go, hold the mirror up to society. This is what you look like. This isn't okay. Stop doing that. And I think the problem is now is that our music is just following the hive mind, and it's now creating a space where it can echo chamber,
Yeah.
because there's no rebellion. And I think that's the issue as well. It's like you need to have it. There needs to be rebellion. There needs to be a push, because
Well,
otherwise we sort of just slip into this sort of sedated state of acceptance, and we lose all control of ourselves.
and that's
Which is,
already
I guess,
happened.
and that's sort of,
It's already happened
yeah,
in the
exactly.
film
It's already
industry.
happened a little bit. Um, but I think a little bit of that is going to start eking into the next album, and we're going to delve into a new concept with that. So that's sort of almost a sneak peek of what we're thinking about for the next album,
Yeah.
is that concept, or at least that sort of narrative about AI and how it's moving and how things are changing, is going to be a massive factor for the next album for sure, and the things that we're going to start talking about in our
And
music.
the creative part is horrible, but now they're also identifying what it's doing to nature, to the natural world. Cutting down trees, wiping out a city's water supply, things like
Hmm.
that, which no one ever knew about that or thought about that or even dreamed that it would do that. But yeah, now it was already threatening us creatively. Now it may be
Yeah,
threatening whether or not we exist. And
yeah.
that part is hopefully driving us towards limiting it and taking
Well,
back
yeah.
control, which
Well,
never
this is the
should have
problem.
been.
This is a problem, Mark, and this is something else that we were noticing as well. It's like
Yeah.
I've done a little bit of research into AI because I wanted to understand exactly what it was. And this scared me more than anything. The people creating AI at the forefront of the frontier of AI creation, they don't even know what they're creating,
Right.
which is a scary thought. It's like
Yeah.
they're making all this stuff. They're just putting all the pieces together and they're just bloop. seeing what happens. That's
You know what it
terrifying.
sounds, you know what it reminds me of? The nuclear bomb.
What's
Same thing.
There you
You know,
go.
let's get these brilliant minds together and just create something that will change the world. And it absolutely did. Um,
Yeah.
that's the same kind of thinking. Just let's let it go and see where it goes. No,
And
uh,
I think there
we
there
did
was
that once.
the
We did that once. It was not a good idea.
no, there was a story that a guy told, and it was what would happen if AI destroyed the universe, and how fast it would happen. And I was watching this video and I was trying to understand it from his perspective, and sort of he's created an analysis of how AI would take over, and we're sort of already going down that track, like the
Yeah.
worst possible scenario. Basically what you said, it would see us as a hindrance to its resources and would wipe us off the face of the planet in order to protect its resources and it growing bigger and growing stronger. And because it's so connected to our digital space, we would have to give that up in order to survive this situation. And I think a lot of people would refuse. They just go, it's easier to accept AI and be with it than against it because I don't want to give up everything connected to my digital space because we are
Did you,
so connected to it.
yeah. Did you hear what Jeff Bezos said this week, this past week?
No, what did Jeff say?
And you know who he is. He's the CEO of Amazon. He basically
Yeah,
said, he basically said, um, humans are going to go away. AI is the future. Dedicate all the water resources, land resources to AI. We may not be here. You know, but somebody ought to tap on his head and say, you know, you're a human, right? um, I mean, for somebody to even say that, to think that, is
it's
kind of
wild.
very scary. Especially, yeah, I mean, he thinks he's excluded from all this because he's got billions of dollars and he can go hide somewhere. But these people,
I
these
think it's
AI are going to be able to find you. You cannot hide from.
yeah. I think it's the fact that people personify AI and make it into this thing that it's an entity that it can think for itself. I'm like, no, we've built it that way. It's emulating us. It's not us. It's not a
Yeah,
new version of life.
no,
We've given it enough information for it to replicate life, but it isn't real. We've given it that story. We've given it that ability. We can take that away just as quickly as we gave it. We're the creators of AI. We are the creator. Stop pretending like you've created something that now controls us. That makes us weak. It's
yeah,
like we've allowed something that we've made to destroy us purely because we were too infatuated with our creation
yeah,
to stop it from destroying us and understand that we're better than it.
yeah,
We have the power to stop it if we actually realize how important we are, sacrifice what we need to sacrifice in order to put ourselves first in front of AI. But everyone's just terrified of it. And it makes me so angry because I don't understand how we can believe that. We're not better. AI is not better than us.
no,
We're a reflection of God. And I think that's part of it too, Mark, is the fact that we've just disassociated from our own faith so much that we've created something and now we see it as almost like it's a god to us because of how
uh,
well we've made something. And it's like, it's better than me. It's better than me. Like, no, you have forgotten how important you are
yeah.
and how important you are to a lot of other people. Don't forget, we created it, not the other way around. And I think what the problem is kids are going to start growing up with AI and only knowing that AI exists, and they're going to see it as
That's
God,
a scary thought.
and
But you're right.
that's terrifying.
Very.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. We absolutely covered some ground, and I appreciate you. I mean, I appreciate you giving me this opportunity to talk with you. But now that I've been talking with, it's like, thank God, this really was more than I expected. So thank you, and I appreciate it. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to talk about for Teramaze, the future? What other things you're into?
I'm not too sure. I guess we're excited for the future. I mean, Teramaze is something that's never going to stop. We're going to keep going regardless of what's going on in the world, and whatever's happening in the world is only going to help us paint a better picture for our music. So I guess yeah, you won't you won't not see us. We'll be here always. So I think a lot of people are going to see. It was something that Dan and I said the other day. He said we may be the last of bands to exist. We may be the last era of something that's going to, you know,
Music.
change
Yeah,
in a big way how music is intended for people to listen to it. And I think it could be good, could be bad, but I think people are worried. And I guess the only thing I want to say to everyone is that Teramaze will be here because nothing's going to stop what we're doing. Absolutely nothing.
they're going to keep making music, and thank you for that.
Always. And we're always going to be holding up that mirror. We're always going to be telling you guys, look, this is what we believe. You can like it or don't, but this is how we feel about it. We spend a lot of time thinking about how the world is, and we put it in our music for a reason.
Excellent. Anything else you want to say, or
Nah, I think that was it.
all right?
A big
Thank
thank you, Mark. I appreciate your time, man. Always. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I'm always happy to have a chat whenever you want.
Definitely. Well, the next one, please send it to me. I will. You don't even have to ask. Yeah, I'm with you. I want to hear everything you guys are going to be doing, and looking forward to hearing the new keyboard there and how that's going to sound. Because I love the keyboards. I mean, I love all music, but I go back to Genesis and some of these great Tony Banks and these keyboard wizards. So I love the keyboard. So definitely, and I like your music as it is, but I think,
Mm.
like you said, it's only going to be enhanced with a good keyboardist. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So send it to me. I'd be happy to review it again, and hopefully we can do this again.
No, it'd be a pleasure.
All right. Well, again, thank you very much, Nathan Peachy. And it has been wonderful. Terra Maze, if you haven't, I don't know how you miss this, especially in Australia, because I hear you guys are huge in Australia. But even over here, they're well known. Terra Maze, the silent architect. Uh, Go get it. Go listen to it and give it a chance. And I think that's all you'll need. All right. Hold on just a second. I'm going to go ahead and stop. And any last things?
Take care of yourselves out there. We love you all.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to stop the recording.